Hey guys, it's Bree. So today's video we are going to be finally doing my May and my June reading wrap up. I actually filmed my May reading wrap up and I'm not gonna lie, I do not know what happened to that video. I think I may have accidentally deleted it, but that is okay. We have both piles of the books right next to me, guys, and we're going to be discussing all the books I read for the last 2 months. So let's go ahead and start off, of course, with the May TBR. I read 7 books in the month of May, and I think I read 7 books in the month of June as well, which isn't that bad. I will say the month of May was a hard reading month for me, only because at the beginning of May, we had a lot of emotions going on. Something happened to my family and everything like that. And I'm not gonna lie, it was so hard for me to get into reading at the beginning of the month. So it was kind of a little bit more of a reading slump at the beginning, but I actually went through all of these pretty well, and I did enjoy all the books I read. So the first book I ended up reading, this was actually the book I ended up reading on the way back from, I think it was Hobbs or something, and that is This Winter by Alice Osman. This is a Heartstopper novella. This one is so cute. I love anything Heartstopper. I love anything that has to do with Nick and Charlie and everything like that. This one's so cute though because it involves more of Tori, and you do get a little bit of Oliver in here as well, and it is so cute. Like, it's really short. It didn't even take me that long to read either, but I did love it. I love anything Heartstopper, and it was very fast and short to read. Then we ended up reading Lore Olympus Volume 5. Oh no, this is Volume 6. Sorry, Volume 6. I really enjoy Lore Olympus. I love the idea of it. It's very funny. It's basically Olympus mixed with gossip, and like, it's messy. It's messy, but it's fun, and I really do love it. So I will say I enjoyed Volume 6 a lot. I enjoyed it a little bit more than was it Volume 5? Volume 5. I liked Volume 5, but I liked Volume 6 better, and especially the ending to this. I'm actually really excited for Volume 7 to come out. I need to pre-order Volume 7 because I'm always pre-ordering these. So I need to pre-order Volume 7. But yes, I do enjoy all of those into each other. Then I ended up reading Mad Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. Let me tell you this, guys. I did enjoy this book. I really did enjoy it. But was it the most amazing book ever? No, it was not. It did take me a little bit to get into, which this book is only 290 pages, I think. But it took me a little bit to get into. It is really funny. So basically in this one, we follow, is it Taylor? Yeah, we follow Taylor, and she basically is vacationing, and her B&B, she finds a dead body. And it's really funny because she's like a elementary school teacher. Like, she has no business being there and stuff like that. And then you have, I believe his name is Miles. Is it Miles? As well, who is a grumpy ex-cop, a bounty hunter, helping with this case. So it's basically murder mystery, a little bit of spice in here as well. It was actually really entertaining, like I said. But was it amazing? No. Would I read it again though? Probably, because that was actually really funny. And then next we ended up reading, did I finish this beforehand? I think I did. We ended up reading A Shadow Crown by Melissa Blair. This is the second book in the Halfling saga. I absolutely love this book. I really enjoyed this series. I feel like this is a very underrated series that I hear nobody talk about, especially because the first book, The Broken Blade, was really good. This one was really good as well. The ending had me teared up just a little bit. The ending killed me. I'm telling you, the endings of these books are crazy to me. And I'm very excited for the third one because I do have A Vicious Game up there. I was waiting to see if Bookish Box was going to come out with a special edition for the third one. I would expect them to, because they have the first and the second one in special edition. But there hasn't been any announcements to that. So I ended up getting the paperback one of the third one because I couldn't wait. But I'm very excited to read that one. I'm pumped about it. Excuse me. And so I'm very excited for that. And if you don't know what this book is about, so basically we follow, why do I always forget her name? Kira, who is basically the King's Blade. she's like an assassin and stuff like that. And in her land, her kind is basically like not well, her kind are basically trained to fight for the king because they are like below him and stuff like that. And you have all this stuff going on here. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to actually spoil anything or anything like that, but I absolutely adore this series. It's really, really good. I really recommend it, especially if you want to get into something that's a little more like fae, and elves and stuff, like elfling and stuff like that. I love this one. It's really, really good. Then we ended up reading, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect to read both of these in the month of June, but I ended up reading them in general. We ended up reading the rest of the Dark Olympus series, guys, because the 8th book, no, the 7th book, this is the 5th, is this the 5th book? Yeah, the 7th book comes out in August, and I'm very excited about that one because that one is it Ariadne? It's Ariadne and the Minotaur. So I'm actually very excited about that. So we have Cruel Seduction and we have Midnight Ruin. So we got Cruel Seduction right here. Cruel Seduction, you follow Apollo, what? Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Adonis, and Pandora. I really, really did like this book. I will say this about the Dark Olympus book, like I always say in general. This book is for entertainment in everything. I will say the plot gets a little better as you go on. You get a little bit more politics going into the rest of the series of this book. I really did love this book. I loved the banter. I loved everything about it. I loved the couple. I will say this though, it is all 4 of them together. I will say that. Pandora is just there. I feel like Pandora is just there for Aphrodite. She's kind of like just in there, which I'm not gonna lie. Pandora, I love her personality. She's such a sweetheart. But I don't know why she's in this relationship, to be honest. But anyways, in general, I loved this one. I like I said, I loved it. I thought it was really, really good and everything like that. And then we have Midnight Ruin. This one is Eurydice, Hephaestus, and Chiron. I enjoyed this one. I will say this one is probably on my least list so far. It's down there with Neon Gods, even though, like I said, I enjoyed Neon Gods when I first read it, but reading the rest of the series, Neon Gods is on probably the last level. This one's close to that one, and it's actually very upsetting because I was actually very, really excited for this book, but I liked the what's it called about it. I'm not gonna lie, the ending kind of confused me just a little bit, but yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it though compared to the rest of the series. I'm not gonna lie, this couple kind of seemed not forced. I wouldn't say it seemed forced, but it seemed kind of like out of the what's it called about it. I don't think Ophrys. Why do I forget his name? Ophrys. Oh my god, I forgot his name. I don't think he should have been in there in general, but you know, that's just my opinion on that. And then the last book I ended up reading for the month of May was Revel by Leah Mia Smith. It took me a year, guys, to read this damn book, and I don't know why I took so long to read it, because this book was so good. It was so good. So in this one we follow Lux, who basically, her family is a group of performers. They performed like on an island off of, I think it's like off of New York or something like that. And this book is set during Prohibition in the 20s. I think the 20s? Yes. And basically in this book we have magic system of each family has different types of powers. You have one who can time travel, one who could read minds. You have basically like kind of fairyish fae people, I guess. And then you have the Revels, who basically, if you give them a gem, they will show you your, basically like your deepest desire, like what you dream of and everything like that. And basically in this one, you follow Lux trying to help her family get liquor for their show so that it can help run it and stuff like that, because they kind of are struggling right now. So you follow him with that. You also get Jameson, who is a orphan, who is friends with Lux's cousin, and then one of the time travelers sisters and stuff like that. You get so much in this book, to be honest, for what it is. There's so many twists, there's so many turns in here. It is actually really, really good and really well written. Like I said, I don't know why it took so long to read this. I love James. I love Jameson so much in this book as well. I will say the only little thing I don't like about this book was the ending, just a little bit, because I felt like it was left off with not so many unanswered questions, but it kind of left me a little bit dangling, wanting a little bit more, because there was some stuff that wasn't wrapped up that well. But I do love this book. I really, really did enjoy it in general, and I cannot wait to see if Lisa Mia Smith comes out with more, because this book was really good. And like I said, it took me a while to read it anyways. So that was all the books I read in May. My favorite book had to be probably Revell. Revell was really, really good for it being the last book of the month too. I really loved it. Then we have all the books I read in June. So I read a total of 7 books as well in June. I actually am surprised I read this much, especially because I went on vacation. And during my whole vacation, I didn't read at all. So that happened. Oh my gosh. Of course they all fell down. So the first book I ended up reading in the month of June was The Shadows of Perseus by Claire Heywood. So this one right here, you follow the women of Perseus' story. And it probably just shows you that Perseus is not much of a hero as you think he is. You follow his mother. I forgot her name. Dana? His mother, Dana. You follow Medusa and you follow Andromeda in this book. I will say, the way this book is written is really, really good to me, because you get it like, you get like the normal story in the mythology, but you don't get the mythology in this book. Basically, like, there's no like magic system or anything. It's just like them in their normal lives and stuff like that. It shows so much. I feel like you will probably get confused though if you don't know the story of Perseus. But it shows a lot of that in here, of like real life things and how the mythology ties into it and stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. I love mythology in general. I enjoy Greek mythology. And reading this one though was so beautifully written, in my opinion. It flowed really well. It did take me a little bit longer to finish, to be honest, but I think it flowed really well. The writing was really good. The story itself tied into the actual mythology really, really good. Like, the way the original story is kind of tied into how this is supposed to be told, because majority of the time with stuff like this, they are like retellings of Greek mythology, so they're not going to be the exact story of what it is. But I really enjoyed it. I actually really want to read more by Claire Heywood, because I think she also she wrote The Daughters of Sparta. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed this book. It was really, really good. Then after that, we ended up reading Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. So in this one, we basically follow Jordan. And Jordan is having to end up moving in with her boyfriend's father because he got them in trouble at their apartment. And from this, you basically follow her kind of falling for her boyfriend's dad in general. So this basically is age romance, basically a forbidden love and everything like that. I really, really did like this book. I liked this book a lot more because it was so different than what I thought it was. I thought it was going to take a totally different direction than what it was, and that's why I ended up liking it more. I love Pike. I love Pike so much in this book. I love him so, so much. I did not like his son. His son pissed me off, to be honest, but I did love Pike. I really did love Jordan as well. I will say there were some points where I'm like, Jordan, girl, get your stuff together. But other than that, I really did enjoy it. I read this pretty fast too. It wasn't even that long of a book, but yeah. Penelope Douglas does it again, guys. They wrote a book that I really, really liked. Then we go on to, this was my audiobook pick of the month, and I'm so glad I read it on audio, because this was actually the book that has been on my TBR the longest out of all these books back here. This has been on my TBR the longest, and that's The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mofer. I finally bit the bullet and got the paperback editions of these because, like I said, the original edition I have is the bookish box edition, and it's a gorgeous edition. It's just really impractical to read because it has like metal hardware on it, and it ripped one of my books. So I wasn't gonna read the books, but then I saw the paperbacks, and I'm like, you know what? Let's give this a try. I effing love this book. So in this one, you basically follow Remy, who is a red witch. And she basically is running from the kingdoms, because red witches they're not like illegal. I don't think red witches are technically they're not technically illegal, but they're very, like, what's it called, like, highly threatened in this world, so they are basically wanting to eliminate them. And from here she ends up teaming up with Hale, who is the prince of the Eastern Kingdom, to basically help stop the war with the North. This book was so effing good. Like I said, this was one of the books too that I'm actually mad at myself that took me so long to read, because it was so good. I really, really loved Remy in this book. She basically kind of held her own in every way possible in this book, and I loved her for that. I loved Hale. I actually fell in love with Hale. I'm not gonna lie, I was kicking my feet screaming for this man because of the way he is with her. And I'm not gonna lie, the way the audiobook, the author for the narrator for this audiobook, the way she talks and does these characters, she does them so well that, like I said, I was kicking, screaming my feet for this man because the way that they said her name. It was so good. But I really, really did love it. I love the twist in here, because I will say there were some twists in here that I was not expecting at all. I will say this though, the ending, I thought it was a good ending. Don't get me wrong, it was a good ending. But towards the end, there was a character who popped up who was like a major character, and then he just died. Like, that was the one thing I was like, what the heck? But other than that, I really did love this book. I thought it was really, really good. And I'm actually reading the second book right now for my audiobook pick, so very, very happy about that one. Then we ended up reading Escaping from Houdini by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and I ended up loving it. Of course I ended up loving it, because I'm really, really loving the series. That's what I keep saying with this series, I cannot fathom how Kerri Maniscalco wrote this series, and then she goes to and writes Kingdom of the Wicked. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I said, like I keep saying all the time, I enjoyed Kingdom of the Wicked. That's my favorite book of the series. Didn't really like Kingdom of the Cursed. And I did like Kingdom of the Feared. But I'm like, that whole series in general was not like a major top series for me. This is a major top series for me. I don't know if it's just because it's a different genre of what that is, because this is historical murder mystery, but it's so much different, and I really, really love it. So in this one, we follow Audrey Rose, and they're on a cruise, guys, and then murder happens. Of course it does, because this is how that. I will say this one does have an element of a love triangle and all this other stuff. I will say the way that stuff happens in this is a little bit gruesome, in my opinion. It's a little bit gruesome than it has been in the past and everything like that, just a little bit. But I will say this, I enjoyed this book. This book was good, but I will say it did drag on a little bit more than it should have. It dragged on worse than the other ones, only because I felt like in this book, things were not getting solved as quickly as it did in the other two books. And I don't know if it's just me being impatient, but I felt like we needed more solving. We needed more clues in this book, just a little bit, for me to catch on to what was happening. But I will say this, I didn't find out who the killer was until the end. So I guess that's where I redeemed myself. But like I said, I really, really did enjoy it. I will say Audrey Rose did kind of piss me off just a little bit, because why would you second guess my boy Thomas? Why would you second guess him? But anyways, I really did like it. I'm actually really, really excited for the last book, because I didn't know the last book is set in Chicago during, I think it's basically H.H. Holmes. That's the one that one's about. I'm actually very excited about that one. So yeah, loved it and everything. Like I said, this series is so good. It's probably going to be one of my top favorite series, to be honest, because it's really that good. It's really that good. Then the next book we ended up reading, we actually did a reread of Daughter of the Siren Queen by Tricia Levenseller. Like I said, I was doing a reread of this series because I do want to read Vengeance of the Pirate Queen, which I'm very excited about, because it is Sorina? I think that's how you say her name, Sorina or something like that. She's actually the main character in that book, and she is the assassin for a lot Losa's crew. But this one, loved it. Of course I did, because it was a reread. It was so good. Like I said, I loved getting back into this book. I loved getting back into these characters and everything like that. I loved rereading it and experiencing it again. I wish I could experience for the first time, because I really did love this series. But like I said, I'm very excited for Vengeance of the Pirate Queen to see how that goes, especially because it's not basically around Alosa and Raiden. It is about, I guess, said her assassin and everything like that. So I'm very excited about that one. Then we ended up reading King of Wrath by Ana Huang. It was finally time, guys, for me to read King of Wrath. And might I add, loved every second of it. People who hate on Ana Huang needs to get out of my face. A lot of people talk a lot of crap about her books, that they don't like them. I personally love them. I eat them up like nothing else. I ate this one like nothing else. Dante, take my money. Dante, just take everything about me. I love this book so much. It was so good. I loved Dante so much in this book. I also really enjoyed Vivian. I loved how sassy she was and stuff like that in aspects. That's what I really like about Ana Huang's. A lot of her female characters, they have a little bit of sass to them. And I really loved it. And I love that she didn't take Dante's crap either throughout this book, because he was just brooding and didn't have any emotions in general like that. I will say the one thing about this book is I hated Vivian's parents. I hated her dad so much through this whole book because of the way he was and the way she was around her parents too. I understand wanting to please them, but at the same time, you're losing who you are by just trying to please them. So, yeah. I'm very excited for the next book, though. I'm very excited for Kai and Isabel, because... Is it Isabella? Yeah, I'm very excited for that, because she was so funny in this book. And I'm actually really excited for Salome, too, now, after seeing this, because she seems like a workaholic, so she seems really, really funny. And then the last book I ended up reading in the month of June was Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I really did love this book, guys. I really, really did like it. I was actually gonna read this one on my way over there, to when we were going on vacation, but I ended up reading King of Wrath first because it was more fast paced for me. I really, really did like this. I really did like it. I will say there was so much stuff that happened in this book that made me want to break down. She's poor though. So you have Theodosia, who basically, when she was 6, her country was invaded and her mom was killed right in front of her. So basically, through 10 years, is it 10 years later? Like 10 years later, she is still captive, and she's basically used as the punching bag for the Kaiser whenever her people misbehave or they rebel. So basically, that's what happens. So in this book, she basically kind of like not goes undercover per se, but she kind of tries to find a way to free her people after she finds some sliver of hope again. And I really, really did enjoy it. The ending, though, I'm so excited for the next book, because the way this ended, the little twist that happened at the end kind of shook me. So I'm really, really excited for the second book. I was gonna put the second book on this month's TBR, but I decided not to. I'm gonna hold off on it just a little bit longer, but it was so good. So that, guys, was my wrap up. So my favorite book for June. What was my favorite book for June? I'm not gonna lie, it probably is low key between The High Mountain Court and Escaping Houdini. Like I said, even though Escaping Houdini was a little bit dragged, it still was really good. I really, really enjoyed all the books that I read in both of these months. Let me know down below, guys, what books we're reading for the next month, how our reading wrap-up was for the month ahead, and my foot is starting to fall asleep, and it is time for me to go to bed. So I will see y'all guys in the next video. Bye.